Imagine a world where climate change is no longer a threat. Not because we changed our behavior, but because we engineered our way out of disaster. Towering machines pull carbon straight from the air. Artificial clouds reflect sunlight to cool the planet. And vast algae farms in the ocean absorb emissions at an unprecedented rate. At least, that's the promise. Across the globe, billions of dollars are being funneled into climate technology. Solutions designed to reverse or slow the damage we've inflicted. Governments are racing to deploy direct air capture systems. Companies are investing in carbon credits. Geoengineering experiments, once dismissed as science fiction, are being tested. In real time, the message is clear: innovation will save us. But beneath the optimism, a question lingers: are we truly solving the problem, or just buying time? Carbon capture plants, like those in Iceland, are already removing thousands of tons of CO2 from the atmosphere. Some experts believe these machines could scale up to neutralize global emissions entirely. Meanwhile, solar geoengineering proposes a radical approach: dimming the sun by injecting reflective particles into the stratosphere, cooling the planet, much like a volcanic eruption would. These technologies could be the breakthroughs we need, or the beginning of an entirely new set of problems. Because the truth is, when we alter nature at this scale, the consequences are unpredictable. Changing the atmosphere could shift weather patterns, triggering droughts in some regions while flooding others. Relying on carbon removal might slow down the transition to cleaner energy, allowing industries to keep polluting under the illusion that technology will clean up the mess. Every action has a reaction, and history has shown us that even the best intentions can lead to unintended disasters. So if we have the technology to pull carbon from the air and cool the planet, why are some scientists warning that these solutions might create more problems than they solve? But history has taught us a hard lesson. Every time we try to control nature, nature pushes back in ways we never expected. Take solar geoengineering, for example. The idea is simple: inject reflective particles into the stratosphere to block some of the sun's rays, cooling the planet just enough to counteract global warming. It's based on a natural phenomenon. Massive volcanic eruptions have done the same, temporarily lowering global temperatures. But what happens when we deliberately tamper with the Earth's thermostat? One possibility is regional climate chaos. Rainfall patterns could shift, leading to prolonged droughts in some areas, while others face devastating floods. Monsoons that billions of people rely on for food might weaken or fail entirely. And once we start, we may not be able to stop. If the world grows dependent on artificial cooling, suddenly halting it could trigger a rapid and extreme temperature spike, far worse than the slow warming we face today. Even carbon capture, the seemingly perfect solution, comes with hidden risks. At its current stage, it's expensive, energy-intensive, and limited in scale. Some industries see it as a license to continue business as usual, betting that technology will erase their emissions, instead of reducing them in the first place. But what if that gamble doesn't pay off? What if we reach a tipping point before these technologies become truly effective? And then there's the issue of control. Who gets to decide how we modify the climate? If one country deploys geoengineering and another suffers unexpected consequences, could climate interventions become a new form of geopolitical conflict? What happens if powerful corporations gain control over carbon capture, turning it into a trillion-dollar industry where only the wealthiest can afford a clean atmosphere? For every solution, a new uncertainty emerges. And if the past has shown us anything, it's that technology alone rarely solves a crisis. It only shifts the consequences. So if the risks are so high, why do we continue to believe that innovation will save us? Technology has always been a double-edged sword. It gives us power to shape the world, to fix what we've broken. But it also gives us something else: the illusion that we are in control. Take carbon offsets, for example. The idea is simple. If you emit carbon, you pay to remove an equivalent amount elsewhere. A company pollutes, then funds a reforestation project or a carbon capture facility to make up for it. On paper, it sounds like balance, but in reality, it often leads to something else: complacency. Instead of reducing emissions, many corporations treat offsets as a get-out-of-jail-free card. They continue business as usual, confident that technology will erase their impact. This isn't just a corporate problem, it's human psychology. Studies show that when people believe a solution exists, they feel less urgency to change their behavior. It's called moral licensing, the idea that doing something good gives us permission to do something bad. If technology promises to clean up the climate, do we still feel the same pressure to drive less, to consume less, to change at all? History suggests we don't. When energy-efficient cars became popular, overall fuel consumption didn't drop. It increased. This is the Jevons paradox. When a resource becomes easier to use, people use more of it. The same could happen with climate tech. If we believe carbon capture will make pollution harmless, do we end up polluting even more? But the bigger question isn't just whether these technologies work. It's whether they change the way we think. If we see climate change as a technological problem, do we forget that it's also a human one? And if the tools to fix the planet are at our fingertips, will we use them responsibly? Or will they become an excuse to delay the hard choices we need to make? Throughout history, humanity has placed its faith in innovation. The steam engine reshaped industries. Electricity redefined civilization. The internet rewired the world. Each breakthrough promised progress. Yet each came with consequences we only understood in hindsight. Now, as we stand on the edge of the climate crisis, we face the most ambitious technological gamble yet. The idea of engineering our way out of catastrophe is seductive. It tells us we don't have to change how we live, only how we manage the planet. Proposals like space-based solar reflectors, ocean fertilization, and artificial ice sheets sound bold, even visionary. But there's a deeper question we rarely ask. What does it mean to control nature at this scale? The Earth is a complex system, built on delicate balances, forged over millions of years. Tweaking one variable can set off chain reactions we barely understand. If geoengineering disrupts monsoon patterns, what happens to the farmers who depend on that rain? If carbon capture creates a trillion-dollar industry, who decides how much carbon is worth removing? And at what cost? When technology becomes the gatekeeper of survival, does power shift into the hands of those who control it? There's also the risk of something even more insidious: technological dependency. The more we rely on artificial interventions to stabilize the planet, the harder it becomes to stop. If a society builds itself around engineered climate control, suddenly abandoning it could be more dangerous than continuing, even if unintended consequences emerge. Do we risk creating a future where nature is no longer self-sustaining, where the climate itself depends on constant human intervention? And if that happens, do we still have the same relationship with the planet, or do we become something else? Custodians of a world that no longer functions without us? The question is no longer just whether climate technology can save us, but whether it will change us in ways we're not prepared for. A future where humanity controls the climate may sound like an achievement, but it raises unsettling possibilities. If we become the architects of the atmosphere, do we redefine what it means to coexist with nature? If entire ecosystems depend on human intervention to function, do we become their caretakers or their owners? And if the fate of the planet is dictated by those with access to the most advanced solutions, does the fight against climate change become less about survival and more about power? Perhaps the real danger isn't just in what these technologies can do, but in what they allow us to ignore. If the world stabilizes through engineered solutions, does the urgency to reduce consumption, rethink industry, and shift our way of life disappear? Do we accept an artificial balance, while the underlying causes of the crisis remain? Or is there another path? A future where technology doesn't replace responsibility, but enhances it, where innovation supports deep systemic change rather than offering an escape from it? Could climate technology be a bridge, not to a world of endless intervention, but to one where nature is given the space to heal on its own? The future is not written, but one thing is certain: how we use these tools will define the kind of civilization we become. And long after the last smokestack is dismantled and the final carbon molecule is captured, one question will remain: did we save the planet, or did we simply reshape it in our image? This video has come to an end, but the discovery continues. Check out more content on the channel and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Thank you for watching.